Welcome to Jiva Yoga Live. I'm Hillary. Today we're going to look at a flow that's going to help you with upper back pain between your shoulder blades. So whether you're experiencing pain from just lifestyle, maybe bad posture, a lot of time spent hunched over a desk, or too much time at your cell phone maybe scrolling, or even just chronic stress and tension, this is going to be a really nice restorative flow. 5 postures to show you how you can find some more openness through the shoulder blades, through the back of the body, and really create a little wider range of motion there. It's going to help you release pain, and it's also going to help you prevent further pain from building up in those spaces. These poses you're probably going to be familiar with. They're super great for dealing with upper back pain, especially between those shoulder blades. But what I really want you to focus on as we move through this flow is connecting to your breath. Your breath is the thing that's going to help you expand into the muscles, create a little more stretch and flexibility. And as you're exhaling with each breath, you want to think about relaxing into each of the postures. So as we inhale, we create space, we really lengthen and stretch, and as we exhale, we find ease and relax into the posture. So let's start with a simple tabletop position. You want to bring the wrists beneath the shoulders and the knees beneath the hips. A nice flat back. We have our fingertips spread wide with both of the palms so that we're pressing into all the corners of the hands. With the feet, we can tuck the back toes if it gives you more stability, or you can lay your feet flat on the mat, whichever feels more comfortable for you. We want to tuck the navel into the spine so that we have a nice neutral back. Push through the hands, push through the tops of the feet, lift the hips so that the spine is elongated and is lengthened. We can bring the chest forward a little bit. Before we move into our first posture, we'll just find a nice comfortable tabletop position. So our first posture will be cat pose. We'll just go ahead and move through cat and cow together. Sure, you're familiar with it. What I really want you to focus on is the breath connecting to the movement. So as we inhale, we're going to drop the navel, lift the chest and the gaze towards the sky. Allow the tailbone to come up. Press away from the hands. And as we exhale, we press into the palms. We widen the shoulder blades. We drop the hips and the navel tucks into the spine, really rounding out the top of the back. The chin comes towards the chest, our gaze is towards the belly button. And we'll inhale, again lift the gaze, allow the chest to come through the shoulders, the tailbone extends up, the belly drops, and we're lifting the chest forward. Being careful here not to let the shoulders come up towards the ears. This isn't what we want. This is only going to create more pain, more tension. So we're really trying to open the chest. We exhale, we're tucking the navel, bringing the nose towards the navel, pressing away from the mat. Naturally, the hips drop forward. The shoulder blades move away from each other. We're pressing firmly away from the ground, feeling a nice deep stretch in the top of the upper back. We can inhale, lifting again the gaze, and begin to move through these cat-cow postures at the pace of your own breath, finding fluidity in the movement. Again, super activating through the hands, through the arms, through the tops of the feet. Maybe holding at the top of your cow position, Really widening through the tops of the shoulder blades, lifting out of the armpits, tucking that navel even deeper into the spine for a nice deeper stretch at the top of the shoulders and at the base of the neck. Inhaling, bringing the chest through the shoulders, pressing into the mat, lifting the gaze high, allowing the belly to drop, and come back to a neutral spine. You may want to have a little organic movement here. Don't be afraid to find what feels good. This is your practice, and it's important that you find what makes your body feel good. So if you ever need to just take a pause and adjust, feel free to do so, and then jump back in. You may find if you have some soreness in your upper back or your shoulders at the moment, that holding this posture, as simple as it looks, it's still very demanding from the muscles. We're really toning the muscles in the upper arms. So if you need to take a break and come off, just take your hands to your knees, maybe roll your shoulders, take a breath, and then come back into your cow pose, or here, your tabletop pose. So from tabletop, we'll move into the next nice juicy stretch. We want to bring our left hand here below the face, and then we'll inhale, raise the right palm towards the sky, paying attention that our hips are still aligned, are still squared with the front of the mat, so we don't want to rotate the hips out of alignment. Keep the hips in alignment. We inhale, the arm comes up, the gaze lifts towards the right palm. The palm is spread wide, and we're pressing into the left palm so that we can rotate from the abdomen and open the chest, opening the shoulder, lifting the gaze, and really feeling a stretch in the upper back. Also in the chest. When we're stretching the chest, we are stretching the upper back. From here, we'll exhale. We're going to bring the arm down below the left arm, threading the needle, so to speak. Bringing the right arm and shoulder towards the ground. We can bring the right cheek towards the ground and then extend that left arm long in front of us. Getting a nice stretch on both sides of the arm. Keeping the hips square, you can sink the hips back a little if you want. You may want to bring them forward. Finding what feels best for you in this posture. And taking some deep breaths when you find stillness. Feeling the muscles open in the back of the body, here in the sides, underneath the shoulders. Walking the hand out further if you want to deepen the pose. Bringing it back in if you want to find a little more rest. Perhaps closing the eyes. And when you're ready, we'll inhale, bring the left palm back to the mat, press yourself up, back into table pose. Release the posture, find some good movement, and then we'll repeat on the opposite side. So we'll bring the right hand below the face. We inhale, raise the left arm, press into the right hand, bring the gaze towards the lifted palm, open through the chest. Exhale, bring the arm down across the body underneath the right arm. Extend the right arm out in front of you, bringing your cheek towards the mat, keeping the hips nice and square. You can lift them or sink them back. Taking a few breaths here. Deep breaths through the chest. Breathing through the chest will help expand the back of the body between the shoulder blades. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. And when you're ready, inhaling that right hand back to the mat to support you, bringing you up back into tabletop. Find what feels good, and then another pose that I'm sure you're all familiar with. It's very restorative. child's pose. So from wherever you are, spread the knees a little bit wider. You can have the toes brought together and just sink the hips back, bringing the hips towards the heels. Extend the arms out in front of you, tuck the navel into the spine, and lower the torso down onto the mat. Bring your forehead to the mat and really find some rest in this posture. To get the most out of this stretch, we really want to keep our arms engaged. We want to keep the hands activated, the fingertips pressed into the mat, not falling completely into the pose. It's very nice for a nice restorative yoga practice, but if we're really trying to stretch between the shoulder blades, we want to think about extending the tailbone in the opposite direction of the fingertips and activating through the arms to help lengthen the spine to do this. So take some nice deep breaths into the navel, into the base of the spine. When you're ready, inhale, come back up into tabletop position, and let's prepare for our last and final pose, which is going to be a supported fish pose. So to do this, we want to take 2 blocks. We'll place one block parallel to the top of the mat, and the next block we want to put perpendicular. You can play with the settings. Maybe you want to raise the block a little higher, like this. I think the best way to start is going to be have your second block on this middle setting and your first block on the lowest setting. Come into your seated position. We want to bring our head is going to come to the first block, and the space between the shoulder blades will come to the second block. So find where maybe a hand's length between the tailbone and the first block. Lower the body down with the knees bent. Bring the top of the head to the first block and extend the legs out in front of the body with the toes pointed. Lift the chest, adjust the block as you need, maybe bringing it up closer towards the top of the spine. We want to feel the shoulder blades open, the chest open, a lift in the rib cage, and an openness in the throat and the back of the neck. So bring the palms to open face down by the sides of the body. And breathe deeply into the back of the body and through the chest. We're really opening through the shoulder blades in this posture. It is very restorative, great for releasing tension and pain. But again, we're bringing some intention and some activation to the body. Taking a few deep breaths here. When you're ready to come out of the pose, we can bend the knees back towards the torso. Put the hands on the backs of the thigh to support you coming up. You can also take this pose for a few minutes if you want to really get a deep restorative stretch. So this is just a gentle flow to move through the back of the body. Hopefully you're feeling much more open now. Thanks for joining us here at Jiva Yoga Live. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you can get alerts about future videos. Namaste.